This conference will now be recorded.
You know, yeah, he's looking at doing a development. You know, the corner of 495 and Alamo. Yes. 9 acres of commercial in front and about 44. Yeah, they got it. Okay. So we're working on that with some incentives and stuff like that. But I was telling the guys, man, I said, you know, these are the first time big projects like this. Yeah. And so that corner, because you know, there's stripes right there, it's all commercial. And the stripes in that too, right? Yeah, they can. It's fine. As long as it makes sense. We have that's what we're doing. Yeah. Some other people out there, they're only here.
Some are here, some are online.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. As you know, we're gonna do the annual election meeting first. So with that, did we take roll call already or? Okay, go ahead.
This is going to be a roll for the entire general membership, so it's going to take a few minutes. And please, if you're online, please listen for your name or your entity's name. I will call by entity. And please shout out. Can I see the people online, please? Cameron County. Thank you, sir. Hidalgo County. Willacy County. City of Alamo.
Present.
Thank you, sir. City of Alton. City of Bayview. City of Brownsville.
City of Brownsville is here virtually.
Thank you, sir. City of Combs. City of Donna. City of Edcouch. City of Edinburgh. City of Elsa. City of Granjeño. City of Harlingen. Welcome, Mayor, for being here. City of Hidalgo. City of Indian Lake. City of La Feria. City of La Jolla. City of La Villa. City of Laguna Vista. City of Los Fresnos. City of Los Indios. City of Lyford. City of McAllen. Thank you, sir. City of Mercedes. City of Mission.
Here, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor. City of Palm Valley. City of Palmhurst. City of Palm View. City of Benitas. City of Far. Thank you, sir. City of Port Isabel. City of Primera. City of Progreso, City of Progreso Lakes, City of Rancho Viejo, City of Raymondville.
City of Raymondville here.
Thank you, sir. City of Rio Hondo, City of San Benito. Thank you, sir. City of San Juan, City of San Perlita.
Here.
Thank you, Mayor. City of Santa Rosa, City of South Padre Island, City of Sullivan City. Thank you. Mark that. Next is City of Weslaco.
Here.
Thank you, sir. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the educational institutions. Harlingen CISD, McAllen ISD. Can I see the people? Was Harlingen CISD here? Or McAllen ISD? Mercedes ISD? Monte Alto ISD? PSJA ISD? Rio Hondo ISD? San Benito ISD? South Texas College?
Here.
Thank you, Paul. Texas State Technical College?
Here.
Thank you, ma'am. Weslaco ISD? And moving on to the very long one, which is the governmental units. Agua Special Utility District, Brownsville Navigation District, Brownsville PUB, Cameron County Drainage District number 1, Cameron County Drainage District number 5, Delta Lake Irrigation District. Thank you, Troy. East Rio Hondo Water Supply Corporation, Economic Development Corporation of Weslaco, Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation, Harlingen Waterworks System, Hidalgo County Water Control and Improvement District number 18, Hidalgo County Irrigation District number 6, Hidalgo County Mud number 1, Hidalgo Cameron County Irrigation District number 9, Laguna Madre Water District, McAllen Economic Development Corporation, McAllen Public Utilities, Military Highway Water Supply Corporation, North Alamo Water Supply Corporation, Olmito Water Supply Corporation, Port Isabel San Benito Navigation District, Port Mansfield PUB, Port Harlingen Authority, United Irrigation District, Valley Mud number 2, Willacy County Navigation District, Workforce Solutions Cameron. And grassroots organizations, is Ms. Lupita Sanchez on the line or here? Thank you, ma'am. And Ms. Veronica Gonzalez, UTRGV?
Present.
Thank you. And for members at large, Ms. Ann Cass?
Present.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. David Pinoli?
Present.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Pro Tem Renee Estrada for Combs? Mr. Jim Darling? Thank you, sir. Mayor George Rivera? Mr. Noel Bernal? Chris Gonzalez? Sergio Contreras? Thank you, sir. And Mr. Yogi Garcia, Eleazar Yogi Garcia?
Here.
Okay, is that everybody? Mr. President, we have a strong quorum of both the general membership and the board of directors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And this is just a reminder as to how wide of a net this organization covers. And to me, it's a relief, and it's proudly be part of this organization that covers such many institutions and entities. And even though most of you are not present, is that you do have a voice and a seat at the table for the Rio Grande Valley. So that's good to hear. The longer the list, the better. So with that, we go to 1B, the invocation. Mayor Darling.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we begin this meeting by giving you the thanks for the opportunity to gather here today. Guide us during our discussions here today. Open our ears so we can hear your voice and our hearts to receive your word. We pray that this meeting is successful, productive, and blessed. Almighty God, we give you the glory for what we accomplish. We pray to you every day, but more so this day, as we all learned about the devastating and tragic events that unfolded yesterday in Uvalde, Texas, that caused the lives of 19 beautiful children and adults. With heavy hearts that we pray and ask you to provide the strength for the parents, family members, and community of Uvalde so they can begin to cope with this tragedy. And while they will never forget the Census Act, may they be blessed and guided by your favor and mighty hand. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Now stand for the pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Item number 2, consider approval of January 26, 2022 meeting minutes. Can I entertain a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We go to item number 3, report on caucus results to seat new board members. I'll let Manuela take over.
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. Thank you very much for all board members. Thank you as well. Thank you for showing up today. It's good to see a large crowd here on site. So just wanted to brief you. This is just a status report on item number 3. So as May is, as you know, is board election on Monday, May 16, after polling all the members within the respective categories. The caucusing took place for the special government units, medium cities, educational institutions, and small cities. Additionally, the grassroots organizations did as well on their own and presented their recommendation. Attached, you will see the results. We turn the agenda to page 2 or in your packet or on the screen. You have the results from the caucusing that took place on May 16. Again, this is just a status report. There was some changes, in particular to the small cities category. We have new members, Lyford continued on, Rio Hondo and Sullivan City are new to the actual 24 or 27 member board member list. Can answer any questions.
If there's none, then we take the action of going with the recommendation.
Just a status report.
Oh, it's just a status. Okay, so then we go to B. You're done B?
Actually, we've covered, the report was concluded, everything from A through E. That's encompasses the actual report. The next item on the agenda would be item number 4, and that is an action item.
Okay, item number 4, act and recommendations of nominating committee. Election of 5 members at large to serve on general membership for the 2022-2023 term.
For this item, Mr. President and board members, the nominating committee met on Wednesday, May the 11th, and nominated individuals to be considered as citizen at-large members to the LRGVDC general membership. Attached is the list as recommended. You'll see it on your screen and in your packet.
Okay, and I'll call them out. Noel Bernal, Chris Gonzalez, Sergio Contreras, Eleazar Garcia, and Maria Gonzalez. Am I reading the correct list?
No, sir.
Item number 4. Oh. And Cass, David Penoli, Mayor Pro Tem Rene Estrada, Mr. Jim Darling, Mayor Jorge Rivera.
That does require a motion, right?
Correct.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. B, election of officers for the 2022-2023 term.
For this item, Mr. President, the election of the officers for the 2022-23 term. Again, the nominating committee recommended the following slate of officers for the oncoming term. You'll see on your screen and your packet. Basically, the president would be ascending with Mayor Hernandez, first vice president, Mayor Mendez, second vice president, Mayor Suarez, secretary, Mr. Darling, treasurer, Mayor Sepulveda, and immediate past president be yourself, Judge Kevin. This requires an action item.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Then we go to 5, new and unfinished business.
Judge,
Yes,
one comment.
sure.
I want to congratulate Norma for coming on board. And I want to thank Chris Boswell for nominating her during that process and including you on the panel with this distinguished gentleman that you're going to be serving with. So look forward to your leadership. We will see always pleasure to see you in the coming. Jim, you know, go away.
And
And
Thank you so much.
just to point out, the new officers and board members come on board at the next month's board meeting, would be your official.
And what I would like to do at this time is to recognize some individuals. And Manuel, I'll let you take over.
You want to join me?
Sure.
Okay, so thank you so much again. And as you know, with every election, new members might come on board and members that were on the board step down due to elections and various other things. And so at this time, I'd like to present awards to Mayor Ledesma. If you could join us up at the podium. And if Commissioner Pilar Garza or representative is here today. And last but not least would be Chris Boswell. So the first award goes to George Ledesma. He represented the city of Primera from 2020 to 2022. Thank you for your leadership and dedication, sir.
Thank you, sir.
One, two, three. Thank you.
Okay, the next award goes to Ms. Pilar Garza for City of Alamo, represented the City of Alamo for 10 years, from 2012 to 2022. Commissioner J.R. Garza is accepting the plaque on her behalf. Okay, the next award goes to Chris Boswell, represented the city of Harlingen for 15 years, from 2007 to 2022. Mayor Chris Boswell served on the executive committee for 12 of those years, including 2 terms as president in 2010 and 2014. Prior to being elected as mayor, Mr. Boswell stepped into service as the alternate as early as 2002. He is an originating member of the Rio Grande Valley Metropolitan Planning Organization Transportation Policy Board as well. The LRGVDC is grateful for his many years of leadership and service to the Rio Grande Valley. Thank you for your outstanding leadership and contribution towards continuing our goals in making our organization, this committee, and our region stand out above the rest. In honor of your active, faithful participation and for your loyal dedication and unwavering commitment as member and officer, we present to you this small token of our appreciation, and on behalf of the LRGVDC staff and LRGVDC Board of Directors, thank you for pointing us in the right direction. Job well done. Thank you.
One, two, three. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna adjourn. Do we need a motion for that?
Yes.
Okay, can I entertain a motion to adjourn?
So move.
A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. With that, we go to the other agenda.
Mr. Chairman,
Mhm.
the board recognizes Hidalgo County has arrived and will be counted.
Okay, noted. Commissioner, welcome.
Yeah.
Let's see, I'm still trying to get the right one. This one. Right? Get this out of the way. Okay, so I'm calling this meeting to order and we're taking roll call. No,
The board is certified at the beginning, so
we're good? All right, just don't want to jump out of.
Unless
A long list. And I think we already had the invocation and the pledge. So we go to line item number 2, consideration action to approve minutes, meeting minutes of April 27th of 2022.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve the minutes
Second.
and a second.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Commissioner Garza. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, line item number 3 is public comments and no report from legislative delegation. Do we have anybody? No,
one has signed up.
nobody signed up. We go to line item number 4. And of course, that's the administration, Mr. Manuel Cruz. And A is consideration action to recommendation from the nominating committee. And it's the selection of 5 persons of election as members at large to the general membership.
Yes, there's 10 members at large, 5 from the general membership and 5 from the board of directors.
Do we have those ones? Right. Which ones are those?
The ones that you have before you are the ones for the board of directors. The 5 members are Mr. Noel Bernal, Mr. Chris Gonzalez, Mr. Sergio Contreras, Mr. Eleazar Garza, and Commissioner Maria Gonzalez, Garcia, I'm sorry, and Commissioner Maria Gonzalez.
Right, so I have a motion to approve. Can I entertain a second?
Second.
Second.
We have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, same sign, motion carries. 2, selection of 3 at-large members to be elected to the 2022-2023 Board of Directors.
Okay, Mr. President, board members, for this action item, as you may recall, we met earlier this month. And so from the first 5 from the general membership and the 5 from the board of directors, here you have before you the 3 from those 10 that will represent the at-large members on the LRGVDC board of directors. So the list that you have before you of the 3 would be Mr. Eleazar Garcia Jr., Mr. Sergio Contreras, and Mayor or Mr. Jim Darling. Where's action?
Can I entertain a motion to approve?
So move. Second.
I have a motion and a second by Mr. Edward II. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, same sign, motion carries. B is the executive director report, and 1 is introduction of new staff members.
Yes, Mr. President, just really quick, just wanted to introduce new members. From last board meeting, we brought on board 5 new staff members, 4 under Valley Metro. First one would be Mr. Hector Martinez, a driver, Mr. Elud de la Rosa, Jessica Moreno, and Amanda Irichata, and they're from Valley Metro. The last member employee that we brought on board for the RGV 911 district, Ms. Angela Alvarado, executive assistant. So just wanted to, so you can recognize who's who, should you ever need to call or communicate with anybody, who you're talking to. And again, this is what makes up the backbone of the COG, the employees of the LRGVDC. Those are the boots on the ground. And so just wanted to point that out. The next item that you have in your packet, I won't go too much into detail. This time I decided to just go ahead and put it in writing and send it in advance. It's basically just an update on regional news, funding opportunities, training, and legislative updates. And so within that status report, as you might have seen, there's some links, hyperlinks that were embedded within, especially on the trainings, upcoming meetings, registration. So it might not necessarily pertain to the elected officials or the board members, but feel free to disseminate that to your employees at the city level as it may pertain to them. And so at the end of the report, you also have a legislative updates on a few items. And so as we grow further for the coming up legislative session in 2023, we'll keep you posted or updated on any new further developments on any bills that might come up that might affect the programs within the LRGVDC area. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Is there any questions? If none, we go to line item number 5, department reports. A, community and economic development, Mr. Rick Carrera, and the program action item is 1, consideration action to approve Texas community development, block grant priorities of 2023 and 2024. Mr. Rick.
Good morning,
Morning.
Mr. President, Judge Guerra, members of the board. Yes, I do have one action item this month. It is to approve the regional funding priorities for Texas Department of Agriculture Community Development Block Grant funding. This is for all non-entitlement cities, which are mostly in Cameron and Williston County. Hidalgo County obviously falls under urban county, so they get their CDBG funding through a different mechanism. These are non-entitlement cities. The funding, the priorities were voted on at the public meeting last Thursday. First priority is water and sewer, septic system and yard line, street drainage for a maximum of 50 points. Second priority is housing, rehabilitation, fire protection, community centers, parks. neighborhood centers at 30 points, and the third priorities, all other projects at 10, beg your pardon. These are the identical funding priorities as was for the last funding cycle, 21-22.
As you know, these have been adjusted several years ago, and they have remained the same, meaning that I think that's the advantage of making those changes to where they've been utilized as, I guess, local officials saw fit. So with that, can I entertain a motion to approve?
I make a motion for approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Did you get that? I guess. All right. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do have some programmatic updates. I'll keep them brief in regards to time. The most important is this year's tire collection, what we call the Road to Recycling Tire Collection event, is this Saturday. Currently, we have 44 collection sites throughout the 3 counties. Just want to go ahead and reiterate that the event is happening this Saturday. If you see myself on Facebook Live on Saturday morning on the LRGVDC Facebook page, you know why. But we will be promoting the event as much as possible. And I want to thank some of the participating cities. They've done a real good job of promoting thus far, distributing the flyer and letting their general public know that the event is this Saturday, starts at 8 a.m. All the different sites have different closing times. Some will be closing late in the afternoon. However, if they get full, they'll obviously shut down operations before then. But we do encourage everybody, this is the time to collect those tires that you see on the side of the road. Perhaps you've got some tires that you've not disposed of sitting in your backyard, whichever it may be. For those not familiar, they are magnets for mosquito breeding after a heavy rain like we've had the past couple of days. So we do want to heavily encourage everybody to make sure they get out and deposit the tires. There is no fee for these. That's the beauty of this. A lot of people tend to shy away from paying the disposal fee. This is your chance to go ahead and dispose those. Next up, we have our next cities and counties. Yes, sir. Several of the Cameron County precincts and the Hidalgo County precincts are on board, as well as Williamson County. So every precinct or entity, they'll take them to the disposal service that they have under contract. And then, of course, we pay the disposal fee. It depends. Some of them will actually take the scrap and actually take it to market. Some of them use that for playground or some from road construction, that kind of thing. Some just keep it there. I mean, depending on what's going on with the markets, it's not too unlike like plastics. The market values of plastics tend to rise up and down depending on what's going on, marketability and market factors. Sometimes they'll hold on to the scrub rubber, and sometimes they can sell it. But sometimes they'll hold on to it just to take advantage of a price when it comes down later on down the line.
So you collect them, you destroy them, and then you sell it to a third party?
Typically, that's what they'd like to do. But those,
I think Mayor, goes into a landfill.
right,
99%.
right. And we have a study going on right now that we're funding to help kind of figure out if there's a better use for that scrap, or there's better ways to eliminate that tire waste.
Yes. They had a fire. It burned 5 years ago.
Oh,
Is there a recycling place specifically for tires out there?
not right now. I mean, there's processors. There's third-party processors here in the area. What they do with the scrap, like I mentioned to later, and sometimes they can sell it to those looking for the scrub, and sometimes they can't. It just depends on what they tend to do with it. But there are several third-party processors here in the area. Next, yeah, go ahead. Yes, you can.
A lot of it has a lot of metal in it.
Right.
And when they scrap it, there's pieces of metal.
It's the steel belts, the actual steel belts, and a steel belted radial in the scrub.
And then that along with any other potential benefits or projects, that's the key for the study that's ongoing right now, to try to identify other potential sources that we can use that rubber for.
Right.
And not only that, but to also provide us justification should we or the cities ever decide to apply for funding to either buy a processor or
Some equipment,
tire shredding,
process
mechanism,
tires.
whatever the case might be. That would be, available to everybody for everybody's use.
You can use it in any road you want.
You can. I think it's really up to the person actually laying down the roadway and how much of what percentage of that tire do they want to lay in their asphalt.
we're thinking, a lot of alleys.
Right.
Dirt, vegetation that you don't want.
Right.
Rather than a city spending concrete or asphalt.
Or caliche. Yeah, good question. So the next Regional Water Resources Advisory Committee meeting is on June 22nd. I want to invite everybody there to attend, everybody here to attend that. That is what we call the RURAC here. What is up, and it's, speaking of studies, an ongoing study we have right now is our flood infrastructure funded project. Anybody can go to rgvflood.com. They are collecting data to input into that website there, and that'll provide the real-time hydrologic data for those sites that are throughout the Rio Grande Valley. It's still in its infancy. The website is up. The data is not that thorough at this point because they're still putting the collection sites or the monitoring stations out. Our watershed protection plan meeting is scheduled for June 30th. It'll be the day after our next board meeting. I wanted to announce it now. We're putting the agenda together for that. That meeting is more like a workshop, and it is designed to educate those in attendance, general public, or those who are intimately involved with watershed protection plans, to kind of share best practices and see what everybody else is up to in those regards. Our agenda is not quite finalized, but I should have it finalized by, well, Tuesday. Monday's Memorial Day. The resiliency plan that we have ongoing that is funded by EDA, that has shown good progress. I wanted to make a last call here. We had some stakeholder engagement sessions earlier this month. We had really good turnout for those. Our third-party consultant is offering, and I'm demanding that they do more stakeholder engagement. If there's somebody here who wants to provide some kind of input in terms of how the pandemic affected them and their local businesses, we welcome your input. If you want to be a part of that stakeholder engagement, please reach out to me. That would include you, Central, in case you have members that might want to provide some input on that. But the plan is looking positive, and the stakeholder engagement was excellent. They're going to be sending out a survey later this week to a lot of small businesses, area chambers, area EDCs. It's a quick and easy survey, but it should provide them a lot of good information. And I think that's it, other than the reservoir levels.
This is 11 days old, so last week it did go 30%, which means everybody had water conservation ordinances, that we all are supposed to do, we have to do. You need to check those. I think that 30% for the Port Valley is supposed to go to stage 3, which means every other day watering irrigation on your properties. And they don't have the data. I didn't see it this morning on recent rain that happened over the weekend, but we're going to allow it in the watersheds. Hopefully.
Yeah, I know as of yesterday morning, Stark County had received almost 6 inches, and that was just yesterday morning. I'm sure they received some more since then. So I know it went up a percentage point in the reservoir. That's what I checked this morning. It went up at least 1 percentage point.
Yes, go ahead.
Do you have 2 economic resiliency programs in place, or is it only one? I remember you presented one, I think it was in the fall, and then there's one that kicked in with Thomas and Associates.
Yeah.
Are they separate aside, or is it one? Or what?
They're all part of the same. It's part of the same funding, and we're trying to leverage the funding for as much as we can, stretch it as far as we can. Right. Does anybody have any questions?
Okay, if there's none, then we move on. Thank you so much. We go to line item 5B, Health and Human Services, Ms. Margarita Lopez. And this is the area of Agency on Aging action item. And 1, consideration and action to approve contractor for direct purchase services pool.
Yes, good afternoon, President and members of the board. We only have that one action item is for Calidad Home Health. They will be providing, if approved, homemaker and respite services. Their rates are in accordance to the standard rates. They're asking for $13.09 for homemaker, which is the current standard, and $10 for respite services, and the standard is $11.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion to approve. And a second. Any more discussion?
They do.
If there's none, then all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You want to go through the,
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. So my status report is going to be a little different this month. What we did was provide a report by service areas. So our program does quite a few things here. On the report, you will see how many people we were able to provide information through our outreach services. 1,078 is what our data reflects that we were able to put out there. And 465 for our consumers were impacted with this information as well. On the vaccine side, we were able to assist on individual base, 10 elderly who were able to get their booster vaccines. I provided a list of our past and upcoming events, so for your awareness. The care coordination report data shows that we opened 150 new cases. That leads me to believe that the outreach material that we're providing is effective. The caregiver support services report shows that we opened a total of 63 new cases, and our benefit counseling report demonstrates 159 new clients receiving our services. So we have some improvement there. I'm very satisfied with this data because a lot of people have not been coming out due to the pandemic, but now we see the increase in numbers and we see that people are more aware of the services that we provide, and they're definitely coming out to seek those services that we have in place. In terms of our management transition report, we do have a 90-day plan in place. The update on that is the new director is now in place. We developed a quarterly AAA all staff meeting to keep everyone up to date with all the information. During that meeting, we were able to review with policies, procedures, make sure everyone is on the same page, and we were able also to revise some of those policies that we had in place. All staff during the first quarterly meeting was able to receive training on several platforms, including Teams, SharePoint, and Outlook. This is really important as well because should we come about another situation that requires people to work remotely, everyone needs to be aware of the platforms and how to use these platforms effectively. That training was also successful. In the staffing area, we have identified 5 candidates that qualify for 2 supervisor positions. We will be interviewing those candidates on the 31st of May. Hopefully for the next meeting, you will already have 2 new supervisors introduced to you. Our Harlingen satellite is also part of the 90-day plan. We were able to review the safety codes requirements and make sure that the building was up to date. We did find that our fire extinguishers needed some care, and so we were able to get those through inspections and conduct a safety walkthrough, and everything seems to be up to date at this point. Any questions regarding my report?
Yes, ma'am, if you will. Of all those flyers and of all your outreach work that you did, does that include Willis County?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Currently, we have in Raymondsville, we have developed an MOU with a pharmacy there. And now we are able to go out there twice a week and provide information and assistance depending on what the needs are.
So on a weekly basis, you go to that particular, could you disclose who the pharmacy is?
Yes, it's Raymondsville Pharmacy. There's another name to that one, I can't recall. Yes, and we go out there twice a week. Yes, sir. And what we have is a coach that goes out there and provides information on all of our services all across. Depending on what kind of needs are identified, then we refer them to the correct department to assist them.
This is the first time I hear about it, and that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Now, you all have reached out before, and we were going to have one at Lyford, and then whatever complicated.
Yes, I'm aware. Yes, I'm aware. We did have something.
But since then, I hadn't heard y'all being in Williston, and particularly that you're servicing the Williston people there at that particular. So if you could send us a flyer so we could put it up to our, on the website.
Definitely will do that. And to provide an update on Willacy, we did have a facility that used to house us there. The facility, without mentioning any name, had some issues with codes. It had to go through renovation. However, 2 weeks ago, we did receive information or updates on it, and they're almost done with their renovations, and we should be able to go back to that same establishment and provide the services like we did before the pandemic. Yes, but we'll definitely make sure that you get an update on the information that we're spreading out there. And I'll also go ahead and send you a list of the new places where we're going to be located.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You give little dollars, right? You get a big area. You urge you, instead of having people come to you, you should go to them. Because anybody who's small off, you will find whether they need their vaccine. That's not difficult. People move to risk. When you're dealing with the elderly, when they're bedridden, and we do out of their home or have a provider, I would urge you to make a list of those individuals that are highest risk because they have limited family resources or inability to move, right? Some are bed bound. Look at them, because who's treating them? They're not going to get to the pharmacy or the doctor's office. So do that.
You are correct. We have taken that data under consideration, not only looking at ways that we can provide the transportation for the vaccine providers to get to the homes of these individuals. We're also looking at ways how we can take these vaccines to also veterans that are out there that are needing these services. You're correct. I agree with you. We have noticed that we have a greater need. Now, when it comes to that, the challenge that we find is not that we're not able to go out there. We have the staff to go out. We have partnered with Science Pharmacy. They have CARES dollars and they can still provide those boosters and vaccines. They can even provide the testing for COVID. The situation that we have right now, that it's the major challenge, is transportation, sir. That's what we're working with right now, getting the transportation to get to the homes.
Or the fire department, some are health providers. They know where their clients are as well.
We'll definitely keep that in mind and follow up on that one. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So with that, we go to C, which is a public safety. Public safety program action item, Mr. Rene Perez. And number one is consideration action to approve purchase of hurricane preparedness items.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
Board members. Today I only have one action item to present, and it is the action of the approval of the, it is the, consideration and action to approve purchase of hurricane preparedness items and natural disaster. So I got with the accounting department about 2 weeks ago, and as you all know, our department works off of a Homeland Security grant. We projected that we're going to have about $34,000 left over in August, because this grant actually expired on August 31st. And rather than losing those funds and sending them back to the state, we're asking the board to consider and approve for us to utilize these funds to purchase hurricane preparedness and natural disaster items that in turn we will get with the EMCs from the 3 counties, and we plan to distribute them that way. That way they can help the cities within Cameron, Willacy, and Hidalgo. So I don't know if y'all have any questions or.
I mean, what are some of the items or what
It would
is
be kind of, see, instead of using it for promotional, I want to buy items that is going to help, kind of like thermal blankets, hand warmers, flashlights, collapsible water jugs. There's even water pouches that I found, because normally plastic bottles have a shelf life of 3 years. The ones that I found have a shelf life of 7 years, which are in pouches, and that's actually something that they can store a little bit longer. We found even little filters that will filter water. At the moment, when they're drinking the water, you can drink it directly out of a lake. I saw certain videos and things like that, and it'll filter the water as you're drinking it. So those are some of the items. Instead of just buying promotional items, things that are going to help people in an event like this.
You compete with
No. I would try it. I don't know. I would try it, but
I do have a question for Cruz. Is there anything or anything that we need to look at, like using this money from that particular grant?
No, sir, that's typically what we do. Like Renee said, instead of obligating that money to go back to the state, we can find use for it through such things as buying promotional items. And it's in line with the Homeland Security priorities when it comes to preparedness, emergency preparedness. And as you all know, June 1st is what? Hurricane season, right? So naturally, we're gonna make sure that we buy those items to distribute. So it's in line, and we have obtained state approval, done a budget adjustment for that too.
and I know that $34,000 sounds like a lot, but we service close to 46 cities in the county. Within the 3 counties, which is about $11,000 per county, if you think about it, and it's about $739 per city. If once you break it down that way, and it's not a lot, but it's something that we can at least help the cities without sending these monies back to the state.
Thank you.
All right.
What
Pardon me?
I have a question, Renee. What about first aid kits? I didn't hear you mention that.
Oh, there's a, go ahead. We're sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Lupita. Renee, are you considering first aid kits? I didn't heard you mention that in the list.
It would be first aid kits. Actually, I got with Mr. Ramirez, which last week they had a Stop the Bleed event, and I kind of spoke to him about the idea is to get with the 3 MCs from the 3 counties and kind of get their input as far as items to purchase. And first aid kit is one of them on there. And instead of investing in bags, what FEMA does and the state does, they pretty much put all the hurricane or preparedness items in Ziploc bags, and they'll give them out that way. So you don't have to spend money on bags, and they're nice and fancy, but you end up spending a lot of your money on bags. So first aid kits is on there. It would be anything having to do with hurricane or natural disaster. So I was just giving an idea, but it would be, just a lot of things that to look at.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes.
Thank you for the question. And so I have a motion. I apologize, Commissioner. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Can I entertain a second?
I'll make it.
And a second. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. And all opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
The status report for the program, this past month, we submitted the criminal justice grants that the board approved last month. As y'all can see, for criminal justice, everything was submitted to the governor's office. On the Homeland Security side, we actually attended the Wesco Hurricane Preparedness Fair that they had about a week or 2 ago. It was a very well event put together, a lot of information. We also attended Building the Culture Preparedness of Texas that was hosted by Texas A&M. That was another workshop that the staff attended. And there's been several workshops that the staff has been attending, I myself included, and we'll continue to report on those as the months progress. If you all don't have any further questions, at the end of my report.
Okay, if there's none, then we'll move on. Thank you, Mr. Perez.
Yes, sir.
That's the Regional Police Academy status reports. Mr. Snyder.
Mr. Snyder's not online. I think he's out on sick leave, but the status report is on the screen and your tablets. If you have any questions, I can answer.
If there's none, any comments or questions, then we move on to the Rio Grande Valley Emergency Communication District status reports with Mr. Joe Garcia, Program Supervisor.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Our status update is on the screen. Our JS department has just been continuing our day-to-day activities. We are working to update our hub. It's just going to be like a hub central for everybody to download GIS data from us or contribute to our GIS data. Our public education team is starting their round of schools and night outs. They're getting ready for hurricane preparedness as well. And the systems. Okay. Our systems team is currently doing a PSAP upgrade, which means all the equipment at all the different 911 work centers is being upgraded, sorry, to the next generation of 911 services. Is there anybody that has questions?
Okay, any questions or comments for Mr. Garcia? Mr. Garcia, thank you. We go to D, Transportation, Andrew Cannon, Executive Director, and Maribel Contreras. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. I know you're expecting Andrew Cannon, but my name is Eva Garcia. I am a planner with the RGV MPO, specifically working in bicycle and pedestrian programs. And so today I'm here to present to you an item on, is the little clicker here? On the procurement of helmets for a grant. And so the request is to meet the objectives of a grant where we're looking at procuring $27,000 worth of bike helmets. This is for a program. And so if you could go to the slides, I wanted to give a little bit of context of why we're requesting the procurement of these bike helmets. Do I click link one more time? I have a slide on objectives. There we go. So the RGV MPO, a little while ago, some of you may recall, received a TxDOT traffic safety grant. The purpose of this grant is to distribute 2,725 bike helmets throughout the RGV MPO, 5,000 bike lights, and administer some hybrid trainings for law enforcement officers and for project managers like planners and engineers. So because of this request, the procurement of bike helmets is on there. If you could hit to the next slide, keep going. There we go. This is an image of the bike lights that we're procuring. We are getting 5,000 bike lights that you see here from Bike Texas. That is under the threshold amount, so you're not seeing that quote today. For the bike helmets, in order to buy the number that we need for both youth and adults, that is what we're coming to you here today. So next slide. I just wanted to give a little bit also, notice as part of this procurement, we're hoping to distribute these materials to law enforcement communities and through these trainings. And so I just show here a couple of draft agenda topics that we're looking to finalize. A heads up for your communities and your law enforcement officers that we're hoping to have the trainings in July. And so we're procuring those materials right now to distribute hopefully in July. And then hopefully law enforcement officers can help us distribute to the public through back to school events and National Night Out, but to help promote that and increase safety. I'm not sure if you're aware, but our safety numbers, we have a high rate here in the FAR district, right, in the Rio Grande Valley for serious injuries and fatalities among bicyclists and pedestrians. And so that is what some of this training is hoping to achieve, discuss the seriousness of these safety statistics, and then distribute materials to improve safety. So another slide over will show the agenda topics that we're looking to do with planners and engineers. We want to help the region, familiarize themselves with the infrastructure as far as trails, sidewalks, and bike lanes, and then how to use safety data, design safer streets when we spend all of this federal transportation money on our projects. Next slide. So this is an overview of the bicycle and pedestrian program. I could talk all day about all of the different projects and initiatives that I want to bring to the Rio Grande Valley or help the communities do. But I'll just highlight the RGV Traffic Safety Initiative. That's what I've been discussing, the title of it. And then you can kind of see quarter by quarter what I'm hoping to achieve. And so this grant does close at the end of this fiscal year. So I'm moving pretty quickly to hopefully wrap all this up. But we do need to procure the bike helmets. So with that, do you have any questions? I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Next slide.
There's a question.
On the, I think there are corporates, but what do y'all
What is
do? The company that we're purchasing this from?
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all do? Find someone local? What's that process?
Well, this because of the way that it's really the Texas Department of Transportation that has more federal procurement requirements, and we have to meet certain federal codes and requirements. That kind of brings the challenge really for procuring locally. So this procurement is through the buy board contract, number 588-19. If we wanted to buy local, I need you guys to help me with the TxDOT and the procurement office over there. But we had to go just to get this grant and spend 27,000 for in total. I think we're spending about 41,000 just to get $41,000. It was a long compliance process with the Texas Department of Transportation. So it's the buy board. Yeah, that's what we're using. Sorry. I want to buy local and I support that. But we'll have to figure out how to do that through our contracts.
Well, it's real simple. The local people just need to get on the pipe.
Yeah. Maybe we should train. I could have a training for that one day. I'll work with our staff. Okay.
We have had vendors that get trained and.
That's good.
Go ahead and participate. That.
So I'll get with the bike shops and I'll have the training. Hopefully we can do something there. I'll work with our CEDO over here. So that's a great idea.
Grant, I'm assuming this is for the others as well, any upcoming grants.
Yeah.
Try and get those guys.
This is the first grant that the RGVMPO has gotten. So if I can make this successful and we can make this work, I'm hopeful we'll continue getting more safety funding. Because of the safety statistics, I'll just share, you might not be aware, but the Rio Grande Valley has some of the higher serious injuries and fatality rates, second to Houston. So when our pedestrian and cyclist rates are near this huge metro area, the state now, through the new BIL, the new bill, is federally required to spend more money for safety. So hopefully, to your point, we can tap into some of those safety funds and bring more programs and grants here to the region. I'm starting with training and distribution of materials, but I hope year after year our program becomes more robust and we can see more funding for projects, identify some serious intersections, maybe near the university or elementary schools where we might need it, but using data to make those decisions and hopefully propose something in the future.
Just one last question. So all these, well, this particular lights and helmets is directly tied into the MPO bike path program?
It is, yeah. It is in the sense that I am required to report back on how we purchase that and how we distribute those materials. So if I give, 500 bike lights to your community, I would work with your law enforcement in order to get the documentation. But you have to come through the MPO, but every community within our jurisdiction is eligible to receive the materials. So how we distribute the materials and the quantity of which is going to each community, I will be hopefully determining in the next month with distribution occurring in July and August.
So that would only be communities that are within the MPO.
That is how we wrote it in. I can verify, but I think the Rio Grande Valley and the Council of Governments kind of overlaps in Willacy as well. So you tell me what you want and I'll try to make that work.
With the MPO?
At the MPO, it's Star, Hidalgo, and Cameron.
No, the MPO just covers Willacy, Hidalgo, and Star County. Pardon me, not Willacy, but Cameron, Hidalgo, and Star. Yes.
And there's a stipulation to that. It's not Willacy County not wanting to be in there. And it slips my mind as to the why part, but.
It's the population.
We would gladly.
It's population.
Yeah, we would gladly be part of it, believe me.
MPO funds are apportioned through the federal government based on population. So that's ultimately the reason. But that being said.
I was going to ask a direct, but I didn't want to. It was going to be made available to Willacy County.
No, I mean, honestly, I want to help the entire Rio Grande Valley. And I can ask our safety coordinator that I work with at TxDOT to see if we could distribute. So I'm happy to work with you and at least try to distribute some in Willacy County. But I'll get back to you on that. I'll come back to you on that.
The alternative would be to have an event right before on the county line.
Yeah. We can have an event right there. Oil City or what's over there? But with that, I do need an action. I need your approval.
Yeah, so with that, we go to B1, which is consideration and action to approve procurement of bike helmets for RGV Traffic Safety Initiative. Can I entertain a motion?
So move.
Second.
To approve, can I entertain a second?
Second.
And a second. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you so much. I just want to thank Sarah and Crystal and Armando and Debbie for all their help at the COG. I wouldn't be able to get this on your agenda before you today without their help. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. So we go to, she did the Valley Metro status reports.
No, it's Maribel.
Oh, there she is.
Good afternoon.
Good
My name
afternoon.
is Maribel Contreras. I'm the director for Valley Metro. For this month, we only have status reports. We don't have any action items. I just want to briefly touch on two of the items from the report. For ridership, for the services that we provide in Hidalgo, Cameron, Willacy, and Star and Zapata, we provided for the month of April 44,843 unlinked passenger trips. That is a decrease in ridership of 1% from the previous month. And I also wanted to mention that we implemented the fares in the month of April. And for the month of April, we collected over 51,433.59 in fare collections. And this is the first month that we've been collecting fares. And as you see, we had a low decrease in ridership with the new fare collections. With that, it concludes my status reports. If you have any questions, let me know.
What did you mention there at the very end of the lower people riding was for what reason?
Oh, there was a decrease in ridership. We did implement the fares as of April 1st. So that was the first month.
Do you think, is it
Before
tied
that,
in?
it used to be.
I guess, let me ask the question. Is it tied in or is it an assumption that we're making that because of the
It could be tied in because of that, but one of the other things could be because of COVID. We did have a decrease in ridership over the months. And slowly we're starting to see that there is an increase in ridership in the service overall.
Dallas County makes up for all the loss of the devices. And so it's COVID all over the place. That's the reason. So gotta be some reason that the rural counties didn't like it.
I think it wasn't that dramatic. I think it was probably about 3,000 less ridership overall. And it fluctuates every month depending on what's going on as far as the colleges, classes and stuff like that. So it's always fluctuating.
And this is the first time that we see any comparison since the race.
Right.
It may take several months before we can really.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If there's none, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So line item 6, new and unfinished business. Is there any?
Yes. One more. Judge, can you come up, please? As you all know, with having the annual elections, we do look at the executive committee membership, and as you saw on the agenda, this month would be the judge's last meeting, chairing the meeting, not the last meeting, but chairing the meeting. So he'll be the passing first the president, and so Judge or Mayor Hernandez would be taking the gavel next month. And so with that, Judge, I want to thank you so much for your leadership, your hard work, dedication. Again, like I mentioned, like for Mayor Boswell, you have obviously demonstrated your leadership every day that or every month that you showed up to the board meeting, keeping us on track on the agenda and getting people out of here as fast as possible, right? And so at times we can't, but that's expected depending on the discussion. So again, on behalf of the LRGVDC Board of Directors and LRGVDC staff, I just want to present you with a small token of our appreciation for your service as president for this past term. So I want to thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Manuel. I just want to say a few words. Is that as county judge, I was hesitant to be part and accept being the chair president, because I didn't know whether or not I would be able to satisfy the commitment. But I made it. I did miss one. But nonetheless, I can tell you that it's an experience to be able to conduct a meeting with members so professional and so dedicated to their areas and whatever it is. In some cases, the public elected you. In others, you just play a big role in the community. So I want to thank you for what you do. And as you were reading out all these organizations that the Valley has, it's amazing to me as to, I don't really know how this organization started, but I can tell you that it has made significant impact in different areas, in different ways. And so I am just so glad to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So with that, Manuel, on new and unfinished business, is there any? All right, so with that, we go to line item number 7. Can I entertain a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
The MPO starts at 1:30.
Muy bien, bien,